Hey everybody, what's going on? Hellmite here, bringing you another video from Grab the Lantern today. It's Tuesday and the patch notes for patch 8.14 have just been posted, and that means it's time for another patch note rundown. As always, I'll be going through the biggest changes in this week's patch and letting you guys know what you can be looking forward to in the coming weeks. Now, I've talked about this before, but 8.14 is the first of a series of very small patches by Riot in order to just kind of fix things in the wake of the lengthy mid-season we just sat through and trying to get things back into a slightly better state for players going forward and not shake things up too much before Worlds starts. So Riot have made a couple of decent changes here, but for the most part, it's all small stuff. First up, there are some fairly substantial champion changes that I'll break down right now, starting with Aatrox. Right now, his laning phase is massively overbearing now that people have learned how to play him, but he falls off really, really hard late game. So Riot are trying to reduce the oppressiveness of his laning phase, but also giving him some kind of strength later in the game. His base health has been reduced, and his Q's base damage has been reduced, and the bonus damage to minions as well. However, his E's recharge rate has also been decreased at early ranks and increased at higher ranks, so he'll have fewer E's early and more E's later. However, his R's percent total attack damage has been increased, so he'll have a lot more AD when he pops World Ender, and his Q's recast timer is now frozen while he's reviving, so you no longer have to worry about being in the middle of your Q combo, getting the revive, and losing your Q and not being able to do anything afterwards. Also of note, if you're an Aatrox aficionado, is that his banner wings are back. Those are now toggleable in-game. You can hit Control 5. In addition to toggling his sword stance, it'll also toggle his banner wings on or off if you want to use them or if you don't want to use them. So that is quite nice. Fizz has a few changes in this patch as well. I've previously covered them. The mark priming mechanic on his W felt really bad, so it's being replaced with another tool to give him more upfront burst damage, but also to not completely make it so that the only thing he does is 100 to 0 you in one combo. His W now causes his next auto attack to deal bonus magic damage, and I believe that bonus magic damage has been increased from what it was before. If it kills a unit, its cooldown and mana cost are partially refunded, and if it doesn't, his auto attacks for the next 5 seconds will deal bonus magic damage on hit. So Fizz will be dealing still a lot of upfront burst damage, but does have some incentive to basically wait it out and deal damage over time because he has the bonus magic damage on auto attacks for 5 seconds. So hopefully this helps Fizz feel a little bit better to play, a little bit more bursty without completely making it so that he 100 to 0s you as soon as he lands a fish. Karma has a few changes in this patch as well. Riot are trying to improve her performance generally without making her overbearing at high levels of play. Her base mana regen and mana regeneration growth have been reduced, and her base armor has been increased to compensate. Additionally, her Q's splash radius has been increased by about 30 units, but the RQ detonation damage, the Soul Flare detonation damage, has been reduced. So generally Karma will be a little bit more tanky, but won't have as much health to back it up. And her Q will be easier to hit things, but will deal slightly less damage if you're able to get the RQ detonation. Overall, I'm not really sure what the point of these changes are. I don't think they solve the problems that Riot were intending to solve, but I guess we'll have to see what the case ends up being when the changes go live. Moving on to Scion. Now that Banner of Command has been removed from the game, which is the biggest reason why Scion was kind of broken, Riot are comfortable with restoring some of his strength that was taken away. His Q's base damage and AD ratio have both been increased. The Q base damage has only been increased at later ranks, so Q Max Scion will feel significantly better about himself getting those Q hits in. Combining two changes in one, Jinx and Twitch are both being buffed in this patch. They're both crit marksmen that are currently underwhelming due to their inability to survive bruiser bot lanes, so they're both receiving increased base health and base health regen to help them survive when they're in a tough lane matchup. Honestly, this might be enough to push Jinx over the top. She's already kind of been a decent pick, so we'll have to see where things end up going for her. Finally, moving on to some smaller changes. These are all, I'm not going to bother going through them one at a time because they're just small individual tweaks, usually to only one ability or one base stat of the champion. You can look up the actual change if you want to know, but suffice to say, Ahri, Cassiopeia, Corki, Elise, Nasus, Rek'Sai, Vi, and Victor have all received some small buffs. And Dr. Mundo, Rakan, Sejuani, Shen, Swain, Talon, Wukong, and Zoe have all received small nerfs. So hopefully this is a little bit of tweaks to help these champions feel either slightly better about themselves if they were struggling, or slightly worse if they have been oppressive picks. Moving on to more systemic changes, Hunter's Machete and Hunter's Talisman have both been changed. They now have an additional rider that says if you have the most individual total gold on your team, lane minions grant you 10 less gold. However, this penalty is removed when you complete an enchantment on a jungle item. So if you are able to finish your Cinderhulk or your Warrior or your Runic Echoes or whatever you happen to be building, this passive falls off. Otherwise, if you are just sitting on the machete or just on the Stalker's Blade, for example, then you will have 10 less gold per minion if you have the most individual total gold on your team. This change is meant to combat funneling and hopefully make it so that champions that are taking jungle items and smite in the mid lane, for example, just because they want to get more gold, will hopefully have a harder time of it. I don't know that this will be enough to completely stop funneling from happening, but hopefully it's enough to at least force players to find a new way to do it and sort of limit its spread, so to speak. Teleport is being nerfed in this patch. It's become a dominant pick across all lanes. Mid laners use it, top laners use it, even AD carries are using it now because just the ability to stay in lane for long periods of time is the most important thing for this, so it clearly needs to be taken down a peg. Its base cooldown has been increased to 360 seconds. It was 300, so from 5 minutes to 6 full minutes. And the cancelled CD, so either interrupted or if you cancel it yourself, that cooldown has also been increased to 240 seconds, was 200 seconds. So however you slice it, you will be getting fewer teleports per game, which hopefully helps champions opt more into other summoner spells, or if they do want teleport because they really value lane pressure, they won't be getting as many per game. So it kind of opens up Ignite to being taken on solo laners again, especially in the top lane. Teleport isn't as useful, and I think bot laners will definitely be swapping back to the general heals and barriers because teleport is very, very tough to use now. Conqueror is being nerfed in this patch. Currently, it's crowding out other keystone options for fighters and crowding out other champions from the top lane because it's just a lot of damage to deal with. So it's being nerfed. Its bonus attack damage when procced has been reduced at early levels. Not by that much, but it is enough to be significant in my opinion. So hopefully this helps Conqueror champions feel a little less overbearing up in the top lane. Finally, moving on to a couple of Domination Tree rune reworks. Ghost Poro and Zombie Ward were interesting vision options, but pretty much nobody took them. Zombie Ward in particular is just really, really strong because of how it interacts with your other abilities. So these are both being changed. Ghost Poro, now after 1 second in a bush, your trinket becomes a Ghost Poro item. When you use it, it places a Ghost Poro, same as before, but now you don't have to worry about it automatically triggering when you stand in a bush. While you or the Poro are in enemy territory, you gain bonus adaptive force, so AD if you're AD, or AP if you're AP. So this is an interesting rune. Obviously, it gives you a method to get cheese out a little bit more damage while you have the vision down, but the vision is pretty easily removed as well. So hopefully this helps Ghost Poro see use on potentially more invading style junglers who want to ward the enemy jungle and also benefit from the bonus damage the Ghost Poro gives them. Zombie Ward has been changed as well. Now you only get zombie wards from enemy wards that you kill, not from friendly wards that time out. However, if you now damage an enemy champion after destroying a ward, you deal bonus magic damage. So again, kind of giving it a slightly more offensive tint to the ability, but still making it primarily about vision. I don't expect to see a whole lot of zombie ward after this change goes live, but it certainly is an interesting change. And one more thing for you guys today, the cursor is being updated. We won't have to worry about that really terrible glove-looking cursor that we've been staring at since the beginning of League of Legends. Instead, we have a brand new, very fancy, very nice-looking cursor to take a look at now. So you can now swap to the old cursor if you so desire. If you look at the new one and say, I really, really don't like this, but there's always the option to use the new one as well, and it looks pretty decent. I'll be definitely giving that a try. Anyways, that's going to be it for me today, guys. Go ahead and let me know which changes you're most excited for down in the comments section below. Would love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave a like, and if you really enjoyed the video, consider subscribing. I upload a video every Monday, Friday, and on patch days as well. And if you're looking for Grab the Lantern content, you can check out my blog, linked down in the description. I upload an article just about each and every single day for your enjoyment. Once again, thank you guys so very much for watching. I do appreciate it. And I'll talk to you all later.